includes
Nesse vídeo, você vai aprender.
And clean one of the project with using pure Node.js. Here we'll use some of the database data and all the database API data I want to get it, and I want to visible it in our home page. Okay, like I show you, like there is a right now there is a 6 data. So right now it's display in our home page as a 6 data. Okay, and that is a different type of images, different type of name, different type of star value, that means the rating value, and then the price, and then all price. So this one is for a specific this product, and this product also have some of the discount. Okay, you can see there is a 25 discount off. How can calculate this 25% discount? I will show you how can get all the data from to the database, and also there is a specific for ID, that is one of the ID, this ID related one of the name, there is a rating, how can manage that rating value, how can make it as a selected, and also there is a price and how can calculate that all price. Everything one by one I will show you with the live example. And also if you click as a this product, so that is our ID as a 1. Okay, it should be redirected a specific ID 1, then it should be get a specific this ID 1 related all that images, ID related a specific name, and also a specific ID 1 related price. Okay, how can do that work step by step I will show you. And also there is another product, like as there is our ID 5. So for the ID 5 there is a different images, different name, different price, okay, and different description. So that is very much simple one of the project, and here we will not use any Express.js, that will be pure Node.js project. Okay, so after end of this section we'll develop this type of one of the project. I hope you will like it very much and you will learn main core functionality of Node.js. So if you are ready, then let's get started. Project, and into this project now I want to create one of the web server, and we will create it with using pure Node.js. Here I will not use any Express.js, so that will be as a pure Node.js one of the server. Okay, how can create some of the web server with using that Node.js? In this session with complete this project we will learn it. I hope you will like it very much. So right now that is one of the static page. Okay, that is our static single page. Our first page will be just like that as a bicycle shop, and here that should be some of the commission, there are some of the product name, and also they have some of the price. Okay, and from here if you click it, then that will be redirected to our another page as a overview.html. Okay, so that will be another page, and here that will be total details for a specific this product. Okay, and also that should be one of the button. If you click it on here, then that will be redirected to our bicycle HTML page. Okay, so that is simple. I have already designed this. So now I want to create one of the web server. So they have some of the file. I have already shared this all that exercise file in your exercise file area. That means if you go to your project exercise folder, so that is as I told you, I will share this folder, and here I have already created another folder as a project 6. Okay, so that is our project 5. So from to the here we started, and then that is our done all that source code. Okay, and now I want to share another folder, that is will be as the bicycle shop start. And into this bicycle shop start they have some of the images. Okay, they have some of the images, they have one of the bicycle HTML, they have some of the data JSON, because here I have already loaded some of the data. This data I want to load in here. Okay, which I have already discussed about that things with you before. And now that is our icon, index CSS, and then overview.html. So first of all I want to take it. Okay, I simply copy these things from our exercise file, and better in our desktop I have already created on the JavaScript folder. Right now I want to do here, I want to paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So now I want to take this project in our editor. Okay, so that is our editor. Here I have already discussed about that things with you, how can create some of the server, right? So now that will be needed. I have already discussed about all that fundamental little bit. Now that will be very easy one of the project, but with this we'll actually practice all that our previous lesson. Okay, so now let's check this out. I want to click as a new open folder, and now in our desktop that is our JavaScript folder, and here that is our bicycle shop. I simply select this folder. Now click as a select folder. Now that will be loaded in here, right? so that is all that our project data. So as I told you, they have some of the HTML, a simple HTML data. That means the page as a bicycle.html. You can see there is a HTML, all that code. I hope you already know about it. This is very simple HTML code, and also there is some of the JSON data. And you can see I have already edited this type of work before. I hope you already remember this. They have some of the ID, they have some of the name. There is the has discount, the discount, original price, images as a 0 PNG, and then Easter. Okay, there is a rating. Right now they have the multiple data. Okay, they have the multiple data. Now I want to take one by one all that our JSON data and visible it in our front end. Okay, step by step we'll do that work. And also they have some of the CSS. Okay, and also there is our another page as overview.html. I have simply created this type of one of the page, so now that is perfectly look at it. So friend, in this video I simply set up our UI project, right? So that is our project, all that file. So from to the next video we'll organize all that file, and step by step we'll complete this project. Our JavaScript folder, and that is our total project, right? Here they have some of the images, they have some of the HTML data, and also they have some of the CSS. So now I want to organize everything. If you want to do that work better, I want to create one of the folder. I just name this folder as a data. Okay, better I make it as a data. And also I want to create another folder as a public. Okay, like here I want to create another folder as a public. And then for the main data I want to create another one as a view all that file. Okay, that means I want to make it as a view. So that is our 3 of this folder. Okay, so here I have created 3 of this folder: data, public, and then view. So into the public area, here I want to create another folder. I want to create another folder as a image. Okay, that will be as a image folder. And also for the CSS I want to create another folder as a CSS. So first of all I want to take all that our images. So like there is a 5 images, and also there is one of the SVG. I cut it from to this position. Now in our public, okay, into this public, and the images here I paste it. Okay, so that will be all that our images. Great. And also they have one of the CSS means there is index CSS. I simply cut this index CSS, and then in our public, and there is our CSS folder, here I paste it. Okay, so now that will be organized. And then for into the view area I want to take both of this file as a bicycle.html and then overview.html. I take both of this from here, and I want to add it into the view folder. Okay, and the data I want to take it into the data folder, that is all JSON data. Okay, so I simply organize it. Great. So now if you go to our project, you can see it's now display only the 3 file as a data, and then public, and then view. So into this data there is our data JSON, and then there is a public. Okay, public, they have 2 folder. One is the CSS, another is the images, and that is our view file. Great. Right now we don't need this. I simply remove it. Great. And now I want to create another file. Okay, I want to create another file as a index dot, our main file as index.js. So I make it as a index.js. So that will be our JavaScript file. So now I want to create one of the HTTP connection. Okay, that means HTTP server. If you want to create, then what exactly you have to do? I have already done this type of work. Like I take one of the constant variable. Okay, constant. There is a constant variable. I just name it as a HTTP. And then we have to call our HTTP module, right? If you want to input this, then that will be as a require. So that is our require. That is a require function. And here I want to do with this, I want to add that our module. That means I want to load our module name, that will be as a HTTP, right? Great. And after that I want to take our server. As I told you before, I have already done this type of work. That is I take one of the name as a server. Okay, and then I want to run our HTTP, and with this HTTP there is one of the method as a create server, right? So that will be as a create server, and into this create server here there is one of the listener. Into this listener I want to pass 2 of this parameter. One will be as a request, another will be as a response, right? So there is 2 of this parameter, and then there is our array function. I simply declare. And now I want to do when that will be run into the console log. Okay, into this console log I want to display the same things that I have already done. I make it as a server is now running, Okay, running this type of the message, then that will be displayed. Okay, and after that we have to run our server port. That means the server. So that is our server, and then there is our method. One of the method is a listener, right? There is a listener method, and into this listener method we have to allocate our port. Right now I want to allocate that port, that will be as a 3000. Okay, so that is our 3000 port. Right, friend? I hope every part I have already done. Every part should be very much clear to you. Now I simply click as a save all fast, and now I want to open our terminal. If you go to the view, and then there is our terminal. I simply open this terminal. So now I want to install one of the package as a nodemon. So as I told you before, when you run this package, then whatever the things you will be updated in your index.json, then automatically this server will be run. That means in our terminal that will be run, right? Rather than every time we have to run as a node and then index.js. So I don't want to do that work. I want to install one of the package. So if you want to install that package, before I have already discussed about that things with you, first of all we have to create one of the package JSON, right? If you want to create this package JSON, then that will be as a npm and then init. Okay, npm init, and when you run that as npm init, it will be ask you some of the default questions. So I want to ignore all the default questions. For the reasons here I make it as a yes. Okay, by default I want to approve every that condition. So after that npm init, and then I make every condition will be as a yes. Then if you click as a enter, now that will be install one of the package. Okay, that means here it will be created one of the package JSON. You can see it's now successfully created this package JSON. So right now we are able to install that our nodemon. So if you want to install that nodemon, what exactly you have to do? That will be one of the dependency package. So I make it as a npm, and then I or install whatever you choose. I want to use that as a I, and then nodemon. Okay, there is a nodemon, our package name, and then that will be one of the dependency package. For the reasons here I make it only as a D. Okay, so that is one of the dependency package, because here we don't need to customize anything in here. So now after that, if you click as the enter, now that will be install that nodemon, and also it will be created one of the folder in here as a node module, right? I hope you already remembered that part, because I have already done this type of work before. Now you can see it's now installing. So it may take little time. Okay, you can see it's now created one of the folder as a node module. So that is all that our dependency module, you will get it in here. You can see it's now successfully complete our package. So that means our node module package is now successfully installed. So if you want to check it, as I told you, if you go to that package JSON, and into this package JSON, you can see there is a development dependency, and that is our nodemon version. Okay, that means it's now successfully installed, and also our node module is successfully created. Now I want to create one of the server. You can see I make the server port as a 30,000. That will be as a 3,000. Okay, that is a 3,000. Which is totally fine. And now I want to in our package JSON, into this package JSON, that is one of the script that I have already done it. So that means when you run as a npm run server, then that will be executed our which file. Here we have to allocate that file. I name it as a server. Okay, I name it as a server, and into this server area, first of all I want to do that will be as a nodemon. Okay, that is our package name, and nodemon. Okay, that is our package name, and after that our which file that will be executed, our index will be executed, right? So for the reasons here I make it as an index. Okay friend, I hope every part you already know about it, because I have already discussed about that things before. So that's all. I simply created that script. Now click as a save all, which is totally fine. And now I want to run our server. Okay, so if you want to run this server, then now what exactly you have to do? We have to run it as a npm, and then that will be our server, right? I want to name it as a npm, and then run, and then server. Okay, so now I simply name it. Sorry, here that is. So now I simply name it as a npm run server. Now if you click as a enter, now our server will be executed. You can see our server is now successfully executed. So right now, whatever the things we will update in here, automatically that will be re-executable, right? So now I want to do here, that is our server, right? So into this server area, there is one of the request, and there is a response. I want to pass one of the response, and then that will we can able to access our this port, right? Right now, if you go, then that will be loading, right? I just make it as a local host as a 3000 port. You can see it's now loading, because of all here I didn't pass any response. Now I want to pass some of the response. Okay, Now you can see it's now loading because here I didn't pass any response. So better I want to do here from to this position and to pass some of the response. I hope you already know about it. So I make it as a response, and then with our AND method, okay, with this AND method area, here I want to pass one of the HTML tag like as the h1 tag, okay, and I want to close this h1 tag, so that will be h1 tag is closed. Great. And here I want to pass that was a welcome, okay, welcome to the bicycle shop. So this type of one of the message that will be displayed, okay. And also I want to do that will be one of the our content type will be as a HTML type, right? You can also pass that as a HTML type. That means that will be as a response, right? That is a response, and then right, that is a right head, right? That will be as a right head. So here you can see that is actually the right head method. So now with this right head method, that will be executed our status code as a 200. I make it as a 200, and after that I want to pass our content type, okay. So our content, I make it as a contain, and then our content type will be what? That will be as a type, right? So our content type I want to make it as a, that will be as a text type, okay, text, and then HTML. So I simply pass it. So now that should be executed. If you now click as a save all, you can see with this with this package automatically that is now running our server. And now if you go, now you can see it's now successfully run our server, and now it's display as a welcome to the bicycle shop. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. So right now we don't need this. In our next video I will discuss about that query string, okay. That means here if you want to pass some of the query string in your URL, how can do that work. In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In this video I will discuss about that URL and then the query string, which I have already shared a little bit. Now we will apply it in our project. Like if you go to our project and if you go to that view, and that is our bicycle, okay. Now I want to open with the live server. I simply open it. Now that is actually missing because I have already changed all that our CSS, right? Right now I want to go to better our project, okay. That is our exercise file. Into this exercise file, that is our HTML code, right? Now from here I want to show you, like that is our bicycle HTML. If you now go open with our browser, like that is our bicycle shop. Just simply understand what exactly the things will be happen. Like that is our bicycle shop, and here when you click it, okay, then that will be redirected to our specific one ID. That means which ID is bicycle is that a specific this ID, another content will be loaded, right? That means our URL will be what? Our URL I want to do after that, I want to create some of the URL as a bicycle, okay, bicycle. So that will be our URL, and after that I want to pass some of the ID, okay, ID like as a one ID. That means it will be get that one ID data, it will be get the 3 ID data. So that is our URL, and that will be our query string. So with this query string we will get a specific some of the ID data. So first of all I want to get that our URL. So if you want to get this URL, then what exactly you have to do, I have already discussed about that things with you before. Right now I close it, okay, close it, and also we don't need this. We can get these things with our this request, right? That is our request object. With this request object they have also one of the property as URL. Now I want to use it. So if you check it with the console log, there is a console, and into the console log, and then our request, there is a request object, and there is one of the property as a URL. Now I want to access that URL property. Okay, so now if you run it like here, right now I want to click as a save all, okay, click as a save all, and now on to in our browser, so that is our port, and after that port I name it as a bicycle, okay, like I just name it as a bicycle. Now click as a enter. Now if you go to our terminal, now you can see it's now display as a bicycle. Okay, so that is our URL, and by default, as I told you, it should be display as a favicon.io. okay, if you want to ignore it, you can actually ignore it, and rather than if you make it as a test, okay, make it as a test. Now click as enter. Now that should be pass another URL as a test. Okay, and also you can see there's displays a fab icon. Better I want to ignore it. If you want to ignore it, before I have already discussed about that things with you. Simple one of the if condition I want to with this I want to solve this issue. That is our request, right? It comes from our request URL. So from to the request URL I want to do when that will be the equal as a slash fab, okay, fabicon.ico. then I want to return it. Then that will actually not display. Okay, I simply returned it from here. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you enter it again, now click as a enter. Now that should be display only test. You can see it's now display only test. Great. So now I want to pass on the string query. String query means, as I told you, like that is our test, right? After the test, that will be as a questions mark, and then I want to pass like as a ID is equal to 1. Okay, so that is our string query. So now if you click as a enter, if you go to our terminal, simply understand how that functionality is exactly working. Like now you can see it's now display as a test and then our total value. So now that should be not display like that way. That is our URL and that will be our query string, right? Here we have to separate it. We can separate it with the splash, but in Node.js that is very much easy. They have one of the building module as a URL module. As I told you before, with this we can actually do that work very easily. First of all, I want to take it. Okay, I want to import this as a URL. Okay, URL, and then if you want to import, that will be as a require. Right, there is a require method, and into this require method area here I want to load our default one of the module as a URL module. I simply load it. Great. And now I want to do all that our URL in our this position, right? That is our requested URL. Here I want to do better I want to take another variable. Okay, I take another variable with the constant variable. I just name it as a my URL. Okay, sorry, URL. That is a my URL, and into this my URL I want to do, first of all I want to get our this object data, so I make it as a new and then the URL. So that is our URL, and into this area here I want to pass our requested URL. Requested URL means that is our requested URL, right? So I simply pass it, and after that here we have to pass our total extension. That means if you go there is our base extension. You can see that is actually our base extension, right? I will copy it. Okay, I simply copy total things from here, and now I simply pass it, because here we have to actually separate both of these. That is our URL and also that is our string query, right? Now I want to simply pass it with the request and then URL, and here I pass that our base URL. Okay, so that is our base host as a localhost 3000. Great. So now if you want to check it, now if you check that console log, okay, with this console, better I copy it. Okay, better I copy this console log, and I want to display our my live. That is our my URL. Right now we don't need this. I remove it. Now what exactly the data that will be display? Now that will be actually display all the details. Okay, in our URL, all the details it will be now display. If you now click as a go there, now I want to enter it again. That means refresh this page again. Now if you go, yes, now you can see it's now display all that our URL data. That is a href, original, the protocol, username, password, host name. There is a host name. There is a path name. Our path name will be as a /test, and search name will be as a ID. So that is our string query. Okay, so now you can see it's also display the search path name as a URL and search params as a ID as a one ID. It's get all the data. So now from to this position, I want to take that path name and also our this query string. Okay, like that is our search parameters. So if you want to take both of these, like here, first of all, I want to do, I take one of the constant variable and I just name it as a path name. Okay, path name. I name it as a path name, and path name will be in our which place with our my URL. Because with this my URL we'll get every data, right? With this my URL we get all that our total object data, and from to this position I want to access our this path name. So after that, okay, here after that URL I want to use that as a path name. Okay, I simply take this path name and I take it with this variable, and also I want to take our another one as ID. Okay, which ID is that? I want to take this ID. If you want to take it, and then better I take another variable as a constant variable. I name it as a ID, and our ID will be first of all that your my URL, right? After that my URL, here that is the name as a search params. Okay, so now I want to copy it, so that will be as a search params, and with this search params here I want to get as a get method. So I loaded that get method, and with this method I want to get that our ID. Okay, I simply load this ID. So that is our string query. Inform to the string query, I want to get that ID. Okay, so I simply get this ID. So now if you want to check it, like here I want to check that our params. Okay, I check that our path name, and also I want to check that our ID. So I simply take both of this in here. Now that will be very clear to you. Now you click as a save all. Okay, server is now running, and now I want to refresh this page. Click as a enter. Now if you go to here, now you can see it's now perfectly get our path name. So our path name as a test and ID as a 1. You can see they have one of the ID as a 1. So just simply understand, friend, it is very important. You just simply understand. I am actually trying to explain everything with very easy way. So now that is our path name. So our path name right now I am using as a test for the reasons is display as a test, and that is our ID. If you make it as a 5, okay, if you click as a 5, now that should be get another ID. Now you can see it's now get another test, and then that is our ID as a 5. Okay, so if you want to access this ID, what exactly you have to do, that is our my URL, and then our search params, that is our search params. All right, and with this get method I get this ID. Okay, so that is one of the object that I simply get it. Great. And also I want to discuss about another important things, like I am using as a requested URL, and here I pass that our host name, but our host name not should be the same for everyone. Okay, and also when you deploy this project to the web server, then it might be the different domain, right? So for the reasons here, I want to make it as a dynamic. You can do that work very easily. I show you. Like first of all, I want to check it like with this console log. Okay, with this console and into the console log area here with this request. Okay, with this request parameter, if you pass that as a headers, so that is our another property. That is a request another property as a headers. Okay, if you call that as a headers, now what exactly the data that will be executed? I show you. Click as a save all. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, just simply hit it again. And now go to our server, and into this server now you can see it's now actually get some of the data that is one of the host data. Okay, into this host, and that is actually our host name, right, friend? So now if you want to make it as a dynamic, okay, right now I want to do after that HTTP, this part I want to do into dynamic, because here you can see in our host that is actually our, that is started from the L, and that is our last one, right? So now I want to change our this part. Okay, I want to change that this part here. I want to load that our host. So that is host in our, first of all, that will be as a request, and then the headers, and then that will be as a host, right? Simple work. Now I want to first of all add that as a $. Okay, and also here if you want to use it better, I want to use that as a backtick, because that is our string value. I want to use that as a backtick. Okay, so there is a backtick started, and also I want to make it as a backtick ended. Great. And into the backtick area, now if you want to pass this data, then that will be as a requested header. Okay, right, simple, or the $, then the curly bracket, then that will be as a requested header. And requested headers, they have also another property as a host. Now I want to use that as a host property. You can see there is a host property. I hope, friend, it's very clear, and that is very much now dynamic. Okay, so I simply, that is whatever the URL right now that will be, that is totally will dynamic, and I take the things with this variable. Great. So next video I want to do for a specific some of the URL, I want to render some of the HTML file. How can do that work? I will show you that things with the live example. So that is all that step-by-step process. Just simply under specific URL, and then here I want to render some of the HTML page. So if you want to do that work, like here, if you go, that is our index file, right? So into this index file, first of all, I want to do when that will be as a slash means that is our slash, right? So that is our home directory. So I better cut it. Okay, like that is our home. Okay, home means that is our slash, right? And after that slash, then when I want to do, when that will be as a slash, then I want to render one of the page, and when that will be as a, like I don't want to use that as a test, I want to use another path name as a bicycle. Okay, then that will be better. I want to create this type of one of the path name as a bicycle, and that is our total query string. And into this query string area, with this ID, I want to get all the data, right? I want to get all the data from our JSON. If you go to that our data, and that is our data JSON, and you can see they have one of the ID as a 0, another one is a 1, then the 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Right now they have the 5 data. Okay, that means ID will be as a maximum 5. and then that will be our path name. So I want to do under this type of the URL. When that will be only slash, then that will be render another HTML. Our another HTML means then that will be render our this HTML. Okay, that means one of the bicycle HTML. This page will be rendered. And when there have any path name, and also if there have any string query, then that will be loaded our this page. Okay, that means that is our another HTML as a overview HTML page. Okay, and also with this ID, because here with this there is ID, you can see that is one of the ID. So now with this ID we will actually get a specific some of the data from our this page as a JSON data. Okay, from here we'll get this data. So step by step we have to do that work. For the reason I want to do in our index, right now we don't need this, I close, simply remove it. Okay, here I want to add one of the condition, okay, one of the if condition. Okay, and into this if condition area, when our path name, I have already checked that our path name, right, when our path name will be equal as a slash, okay, when it will be as equal slash, then I want to render one of the page. Okay, and else if, okay, else if I want to do and to put another condition. Okay, here I want to put another condition, and then that means else if means what? Else if means after that, then that will be one of the bicycle or something. So now I take that name as a bicycle. Okay, I name it as a bicycle. When that will be as a bicycle, and when that would be any ID, and also when that will be as a one of the ID number, right? Here with this I want to put one of the condition. So that will be our ID. Our ID is started from to the 0, right? It's started from to the 0, and maximum that will be as a 5. So I want to do and to add another if condition. Okay, here with our same our path name. So that is a path name. When this path name will be equal and then slash bicycle. Okay, I make it as a bicycle. And when that will be as a bicycle, and I make it another condition, and that will be obviously our ID, right? Our when this ID will be as a greater than or the equal as a 0, right? And also there is a maximum one as a I put another and condition, and when our ID will be as a less than, okay, less than or the equal 5, right? So that is our maximum number. When that will be as a less than or equal 5, then I want to render another file in particular at that position. And else it should be displayed as a 404. Some of the page you can actually load, rather than right now for make this easy I want to load some of the HTML text. Okay, else it should be loaded with the response. Okay, with this response, then that is a method as a AND method, right? Into this AND method area I want to do and to pass one of the HTML tag. I simply added that HTML and this HTML, that means the h1 tag, and then that will be displayed as a file. Okay, file not found. So this type of one of the message, then that will be displayed. Okay, and you can also pass some of the div if you want. You can also pass, because that is one of the HTML tag, you can pass the div. Better I want to pass on the div, and also I want to do and to close this div. Okay, I simply close it. So now also we have to load our type, right? Better I want to do here, that is our response. There is a response, and then our another method as a right. Okay, right head, right? It's a right head method, and into this right head method area here our status will be as a 200. That means that is totally fine. And then I want to then to pass that our content type. Okay, so I make it as a content type. Okay, content type will be what? Content type will be as a HTML. That means first of all that will be as a text, and then HTML. Okay, I simply load it. Great. So now if you want to check it, like here, if you don't click as a save all, so here I have already put that condition when that will be as a slash rather than the bicycle. And if they have no bicycle or this type of one of the URL, if we don't get it, then that will be returned to our this page. Okay, that means our it will be displayed as a file not found. So if you want to do that work, like here, I want to better right now refresh it first, and then I want to do, you can see that is our different name. For this automatically now it's displayed as a file not found, because it's not get any URL like this, because here I didn't add any conditions like this, right? I hope friend every part is very much clear to you. Okay, that is a simple one of the condition. So now I want to work in here. When our path name will be as a slash means what? Slash means that will be our home page, right? Here that will be our home page. So into this home page area I want to load our this page. Okay, that means that will be our home page. That means that is our bicycle.html. Here I want to load it. So if you want to load it, that is one of the file type, right? Here we have to first of all load that module as a, I have already discussed about that things with you, as a FS module, right? So now I want to take one of the variable, okay, with the constant variable. I just name it as a FS. That is our FS module. Now we have to take it. So that will be as a required, same things. Okay, that is a required, and there is a required area. Here I want to load our default module as a FS module. Okay, and now I want to use that as a asynchronous function. So if you use that asynchronous function, here we have to pass that as a promises, right? So I simply pass that as a promises. Great. So when you use that as a asynchronous function in our request and then response area, here also we have to pass that as a asynchronous. Remember, I have already discussed about that things with you. That will be as a asynchronous. And now I want to load one of the file, okay, with our FS module. I want to do here. Okay, I want to better put some of the cap. I want to take one of the HTML. Okay, like right now I take first of all one of the variable and the constant variable. I just name it as a HTML, whatever the name actually you choose. And then here we have to use that as a await, because that is one of the asynchronous function, and then our FS module. And with this I want to access our one of the method, our method name as a read file, right? So that is our read file. So now with this read file area, here I want to load our file name, our file in our which place. Right now we have to find out this file. So that is in our view, into this view, and then that is our overview, right? If you go, that is our bicycle, right? So that is not that overview, that is a bicycle.html. This page I want to load. Right now that will be what? That will be the, first of all, that will be the views. Okay, that is a view, one of the folder, and into this view folder I have created that file name as a bicycle, CLES, bicycles.html. Okay, and also here we have to pass that our anchor tag. Our anchor tag will be as UTF. I make it as a UTF-8. Okay, so I simply load it. Great. And now also we have to pass that same rewrite function, like there is our type, right? I just simply copy it, and then here I simply paste it. So that will be as a content type, as a 200, which is totally fine, as a write head, and then the content type will be as a text, and then HTML. Okay, and now I want to do with this response, with the AND method, a response and the AND method area. Here I want to pass our which the data. I want to pass out this view file, which I take that things with this variable. Now I simply pass it in here. Okay, so now when that will be as a slash, then that will be our display or this page as a bicycle HTML, rather than the same thing. So better I copy it, and then for the bicycle, that means that if you go right now, that will be loaded our this overview.html. Right now I want to copy everything from here, and then when that will be as a slash bicycle, and ID will be as a greater than equal 0 or less than equal 5, then that will be load out this part. I simply paste it. Now only our page will be changed, right? Now that is will be as a overview.html. Better I name it as overview. Okay, overview.html. Then that will be loaded, and our write status will be as a 200, which is totally fine. But here I have already done it. You can see that I have make it as a 200 for the 404 page, because that is one of the our another page, right? When that will be not get any appropriate data, then our this page will be loaded. So that should be a status, that is another status code as a 404. Okay, I want to make it as a 404 code, because which data I am actually expected, it's not get this request. For the reasons, that will be our status will be as a 404, and then that will be displayed. Great. So friend, that's all. Okay, that's all I want to do in here. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go to our home page, I want to click as a enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully load our home page. Right now all that our CSS is missing. You can see there is a CSS is missing for our this page. There is CSS missing. For the reasons is displayed like that way. Don't worry, we will solve it. Right now our title, you can see there is a title as a bicycle shop and programming with Aryan. Okay, you can see that is actually our appropriate one, right? And when that will be as a slash bicycle. Okay, I want to make it as a I want to make it here as a slash bicycle, and I want to pass some of the ID. Okay, whatever the ID you choose. Right now they have no data. Now that should be loaded another page, right? Now click as enter. Now let's check this out. It's perfectly get it or not. Now it's get some of the error. Okay, it's get some of the error because of all. If you go, you can see it's also show some of the error. That is our event unhandled error event right after and in our index 35. So into the index 35, what exactly the right after and you can see before I'm actually using it. So right now we don't need this. So there is our extra code. So you can see that in the 35 it's actually get some of the error. So now I simply remove it. Now click as a save all. So right now that should be redirected to our overview, right? That is overview.html page, when that will be as a bicycle, and also they have the ID. Now let's check this out. I click as a save all already. Our server, you can see our server is now running. That means right now that should be work. Yes, you can see it's already running. Okay, it's already running our space. Great. So now you can see that is our the bicycle shop. That means that is right now redirected to our this overview.html, the bicycle shop. Great. So they have some of the CSS is missing, for the reasons it's now displayed like that way. I hope you understand that part. But our condition is work, right? So that is one of the our default one. Click as enter. Now it should be loaded out this page, and when that will be as a slash and then bicycle some of the ID, then that will be loaded our another page. Great. How much easily we did that work, I hope friend is very much clear to you. So that is our first condition. When that will be as a slash, then that will be loaded our bicycle HTML, and when that will be as a slash bicycle and the ID, then that will be loaded our overview HTML. On when that will be as a not match, like right now I pass one of the ID as a 9 because I have already put that condition that will be as a less than or the equal as a 5. So now I make it as a 6. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully redirected to our 404 page as a file not found, right? So here I have already added some of the div and HTML tag as a file not found. Now you can see it's now display as a file not found. So now in our next video, I want to do like here all that our CSS missing, images is missing, right? I want to get all that our CSS and the images. How can rendering that CSS and the images? In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. Now if they have one issue, like here it's not getted our all that CSS images, and also you can see if the link, everything is not work perfectly. So now we have to change it. We have to send all that requests now to our server, because right now that is loaded from our server, right? So if you want to do that work, we have to do simple work. We have to go to our view file, that is our view, and that is our first file as a bicycle. Okay, and into this bicycle you can see I have already added our server will be started from slash, and also our another one will be as a slash and then bicycle, right? So here only we have to do, here we have to pass that request to our server by this. So right now we don't need any dot, I simply remove it. Okay, so that is our index.css. Now that will be get our index.css, and that is one of the CDN versions. So right now here we don't need to do anything, which is totally fine. And also you can see there is images. Okay, for the images also we have to pass that our by default one, that means our server request as a slash, and then there is on the link. Right now there is on the static link as a overview.html. So right now here I have already created that URL. Or URL will be as a bicycle, and after that bicycle then that will be as a one of the ID, right? That is one of the query string. So here also you have to pass one of the query string. So first of all I have to do and to copy it. That is a bicycle, so that will be here, we don't need this. Okay, that will be a server, and then that will be as a bicycle. Okay, and after that bicycle here we have to pass one of the query string. So if you want to pass that query string, right now I manually pass it, literally will make it as a dynamic. That will be on the ID, like I want to get that as a 0 ID data. Okay, so that is our query string. Great, I simply pass it, which is totally fine, and also they have no link. Okay, so right now that is enough. So that will be enough for our this page, which is totally fine. Now I want to do and to click as a save all, and also there is another page as a overview.html. Here also you have to do the same, like here I want to pass that as only slash, which is totally fine. And then there is a picture, so for the picture I want to do and to pass it only slash, which is totally fine. And also there are some of the text. Okay, they have some of the text, and then some of the link. Okay, there is some of the link, right? And this link will be redirected to our home page. That means right now that will be only slash. Better I make it only slash. Okay, that is our bicycle.html, but that means that will be our home page, right? For the home page I have already created as a slash. Right now that should be redirected to our slash. And then there is one of the SVG icon, which is totally fine. Here we don't need to change anything. Right now, if you click as a save all, and now if you go to our page, and that is our home page, now click as a refresh, and here right now I have updated that URL. You can see it's now I have updated as a bicycle, then /id0. So if you click it, now you can see it's now redirected to our another page. Right now there is a static one, we will make it as a dynamic. Okay, so here now we have one by one we have to load all that our images. Here if you run it like I show you, if you go to our index, into this index area, here after that I want to show what type of request actually is now get. I click as a console log. Okay, with the console with this console log I want to display our requested URL. Okay, now what type of URL actually is now get, I show you that it will be the request and requested URL. Okay, I loaded that requested URL. And now if you click as a save all, okay, if you click as a save all, and now if you go back and click as a enter, and now again I go to our terminal, and with this terminal you can see it's now getted that as a icon, that is a slash icon SVG. Okay, and if you go to our home page, into this home page I click as a enter. Right now this page, now what data is actually getted, that is a /0 and then dot the PNG. Okay, now that means it's actually get that PNG. Okay, now we have to add it one by one. We have to add it in particular that position. So better here. Okay, here after this, before this else, I want to add another else if condition. Okay, I simply added that else, and then else if condition, I simply added it. Okay, so in particular that position area, first of all I want to check it. Okay, in our slash, that means that is our slash, right? Into this slash area, what exactly the data is getted. Like here I want to get that issue, it should be checked is that have any PNG or not. So I want to use that as a PNG. So with this it should be check the data as a PNG, and if this PNG as a capital character or the small character, if you want to make it as a case sensitive, that is another argument. I have already discussed about that things with you, that is the I. Okay, so now with this we can actually make it as a case insensitive. So if that is actually capital character or the small character, it doesn't matter. And I want to get this PNG into the last. Okay, that means into the last area, that will be displayed. For the reasons here I want to add one of the $sign. Okay, I simply added that $sign. Great. And into this position there is one of the dot, and this dot is regular expression, one of the a special character. So if you use that as a special character, here we have to use that as a backslash. Okay, so I simply added that things in here. So now with this regular expression, we can now actually check it after that our text either have any PNG or not. Okay, so now I want to check our URL. So now that will be as a test. I want to load that test, and with this I want to check it if there have any here I want to pass that our requested URL. Okay, so that is our requested URL. So now with this regular expression, it should be checked that is in our URL area there have into the last area there have any PNG or not. And now I want to read this file. Okay, that means in our public, and with the public there is the images, and that is all that our images. Right now if you want to access, that means if you want to read this file, then what exactly you have to do? Better I take one of the constant variable. Okay, constant, I want to take one of the constant variable, I just name it as an image. And that is one of the asynchronous function. For the reasons here we have to pass that as a await, and to the await and then the fs. Right, with this fs I want to access our method name as a read file, and into this read file area now we have to allocate our path. Right, better here I want to use that as a backtick. Okay, I use that as a backtick, and into this backtick area, first of all that will be as a dot and then the slash, and then first of all that our folder name as a public. Okay, public, I simply write down as a public, and into this public area after that there is an image, there is an image folder, and after that image that should be as a dynamic. Right, so there is a 0 index, you can see there is actually display our, there is a 0 and then there is a dot. So I want to take it from here. Right, I want to take it from to this position. So for the reasons here I want to slice this one. Right, so that I don't need this our first index means the 0 index. I want to get that things from our 1 index, and then that will be our 2 index. Okay, so if you want to remove it, then there is also another method, as I told you before, there is a slice method. Right, with this method we can actually do it like there is a images, after that images there is our slash. Right, so that is our slash, after that slash I want to slice out this 0. So if you want to do that work, so after that images, I want to use that as a dollar sign, right? So that is a dollar sign, and into this dollar sign area there is a curly bracket, and then that is our from where exactly you want to remove. I will remove it from our requested URL. So that will be as a requested URL. Okay, from to the requested URL, I want to call that our slice method. Okay, that will be as a slice. So that is a slice method, and into this slice method area, first I want to slice our only first index. Okay, that means it will be started from our 1, so I make it as a 1. Great. Okay, I simply load that things in here, which is totally fine. I hope, friend, every part is very much clear to you. So now we get that image. Now I want to response it. That means that will be just like that same, but I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and after that I simply paste it. That will be as a right head, with this right head as a 200 content type, and content type will be right now not that text, that will be as an image, right? So I make it as an image. So that will be the image, and then I want to make it as a PNG. Okay, I make it as a PNG. So that will be the PNG, and here I get that our images in here. Now I want to do with our AND method, that is with our requested AND method, I pass that this image. Okay, I simply pass it. So now that should be loaded. That means all that images now should be loaded. Click as a save all. Okay, I click as a save all. Everything is running perfectly. Now go there, click as a refresh. Now our image is not visible here. If you go, that is also not visible, right? Our image is not visible. Why? What exactly the things I have done wrong? In our console, it's also not display any error. There is a else if condition, everything is look like perfect test, and then URL. You can see I make it as a response URL. So that will be not obviously response URL, that will be as a request URL, right? I have already done it a lot of the time. Like here, you can see our URL actually comes from, that is one of the property of our request, not that response. So that will be obviously one of the request. Okay, so that will be as a request URL, and also here that will be as a request URL, right? I simply pass both of this in here. Right now, let's check this out. Click as a save all. Terminal running perfectly. Now go there, click as a refresh. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly get that our images, right? It's perfectly get this image. Go there. You can see it's also perfectly get this image, which is totally fine. So right now everything working, but here our CSS is not working, right? Here we have to work into the CSS right now. So now what to I want to get that CSS. If you want to do that work, that will be just like that same concept. Okay, so that will be just like that same. Here better I copy it. Okay, I copy that else if I simply paste it. So now that will be check after that is our any CSS or not. Okay, like here you can see there is also get that as a index.css. So now I want to add the same condition, that will be check as a CSS, and then that will be our test, and then requested URL. Okay, from to the requested URL it will be check. I take one of the variable as a CSS. Okay, and then await fs function with the read file. It will be read from where there is a public, and then there is a CSS, right? So I make it as a public and then CSS, and after that CSS there is a index.css. Right now here we don't need to pass the dynamic data. I only want to do and remove everything. Okay, I simply remove everything. That will be as index. Okay, index.css. I simply loaded that index.css. Great. And then our content type, now that should be different. Our content type would be as a text. Okay, text. That will be as a text, and then the CSS. Okay, so that will be our content type, which is totally fine. And then here I want to display this CSS. Okay, so I simply loaded this. I hope every part is very much clear to you. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. I simply click as a save all. Server is now successfully running. Now go there. Now refresh it. Yes, you can see it's now successfully get our CSS. So perfect. It's now perfectly loaded. If you go to our home page, okay, our home page, now click as enter. Yes, you can see it's perfectly get it all that our CSS, everything is work perfectly. And if you click it, perfect. Okay, friend, I hope you like it very much. Here everything is worked perfectly. So they have only one file is missing. One file you can see it's also suggested as a icon.svg. So this file is missing. So this file is missing. Here only you have to do that is our another format as a .svg, right? Our condition will be same. Better from the here I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and then I want to paste it. Okay, so I simply click as a Ctrl V, which is fine. Now that will be as a .svg, right? So that will be asv, okay, svg. So svg file will be it will be checked in our requested URL, and I take that name as a svg. Okay, svg, I take that name. Await function, it will be read file from which place? That will be from our images, and then there is a icons.svg. Okay, so that is in our public, and the image, so that will be as an image folder, and our file name as icon. Okay, I make it as icon. I hope you understand it. It is very easy process. If you practice it, then everything will be more clear. Okay, friend. So now that will be our icon svg. Great. And for the icon svg, that will be one of the different type. Like here, our content type will be as image. Okay, image. And for the svg, then that is another one as sv. Okay, svg and plus xml. So that will be xml. Okay, that is svg plus xml. And then I take that our svg file, all the data in here. Now that should be as svg. Great. I hope every part is very much clear. Now our svg should be loaded. Now click as a save all. Now our server is now running. Now go there. Now click as a refresh. You can see our svg is now loaded. It's now perfectly loaded. Here I have also put another link, our home directory. Click it. You can see it's now redirected to our home directory. Here I have already added one of the only slash for our home. Right now everything is great. Okay, everything is great. I hope, friend, you get some of the idea how to get that all your CSS, how to get that images, okay, and also how to get that SVG. So that is the simple, all that process. Simply understand, okay, friend. If you understand the core functionality, I hope after end of this course, JavaScript will be very much clear to you. In our next video, I want to load all that our data in here, and after that, when you click it, then appropriate a specific ID data, then that will be loaded in our view page. Okay, how can make it dynamic? In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, here we is able to successfully get all that our CSS, images, and then the SVGs, right? Great. Right now it's very lucrative. Right now we don't need this, so I simply close it. Okay, now I want to get all that our dynamic data. That means if you now click it in here, right now there is one of the static I have passed ID as a 0, right? So when that will be as a 1, it will be get that 1 data. When that will be as a 2, then that will be get that our 2 data. So if you want to get it, I have already created one of the JSON file, right, into the data, and there is our JSON file. Here you can see they have some of the data. Okay, so that is all that our product data, and into this product data area, like that is one of the ID as a 0, ID as a 1, ID as a 2. So this all the data now I want to do in our index. Into this index, I have already created one of the URL. You can see that is our bicycle, and then that will be all that our ID, right? So now here, first of all, I want to import our this JSON data, and then here with this query string, I want to find all the data. Okay, I want to find all the data from our data JSON. So if you want to do that, first of all, you have to get this our JSON file. That means JSON data. So if you want to get it, simple work. Like I take one of the variable. Okay, I take one of the variable as a constant variable. There is a constant variable. I just name it as a bicycles. Okay, bicycles. And then I want to get this data. So if you want to get it, then that will be as the same as a required. And into this required area, now here we have to pass our file location. Okay, right now that is our file. You can see there is a data. So now there is a data, and after the data, there is our data JSON. Okay, I simply loaded this file. So if you want to check it, is everything is perfectly get or not, you can check it with the console log. Okay, console, and with this console log, I want to display our this bicycle. Now let's check this out. What type of data it will be displayed in our terminal. Like if you click as a save all, yeah, you can see it's now perfectly get all that our JSON data. Right now I want to get these all JSON data, and then one by one I want to find out all that our ID. Okay, I want to find out all that ID in our URL. That means that is actually our URL. Here I want to find it, right? So if you want to do that work, I want to do right now, we don't need this. Okay, sorry, we don't need this bicycle. I have already get all that our JSON data. Now I want to find all that data. Okay, I want to find it in here. So after that better I want to do is very simple. I want to take one of the variable as a constant variable. Okay, constant variable. I just name it as a same name as a bicycle. Yes, I name it as a bicycle. And then I want to get all that our data, JSON data I have already get it as a bicycles, right? So that is our bicycles. Now I want to do from here. So from here I want to add that as a find method. Okay, that is our find method. So now with this find method I want to get all that our ID, right? So for the reasons here I want to create one of the array function. Okay, into this that is our the array function I simply created. So that is our array function. Great. And into this array function area I want to pass all that our bicycle value data. So I just make it as only B. Okay, that B means that is all that our bicycle which data I get it from our JSON, right? That means from our data JSON. So I simply pass that JSON. That is here I pass it by the one of the parameter, and now I want to put on the condition. Okay, so now with this, okay, with this I want to is that our JSON all the data, JSON data ID. JSON data ID means that is our data JSON, and then that is our ID. When this ID will be matched with our requested ID, requested ID, you can see that is our requested ID, right? So now I want to pass it when that will be as equal as our requested ID. Okay, when that will be as a requested ID, then I want to get appropriate data. So if you want to check it better, I want to do with the console log. Okay, with this console and the console login area I want to check this bicycle. I simply get this bicycle. So now let's check this out. I want to click as a save all, and now here I want to access as a 3. Okay, I want to get that our 3 ID data. So if you click as a enter, now if you want to check it in our terminal, so into this terminal, now that's actually display our host name. Okay, it's getting that all that host. If you go, you can see I am actually display this console log with the requested header. For the reasons actually is display this message. Right now I simply remove it. Okay, I simply remove it, which is totally fine. I have already updated our dynamic URL, which is totally fine. Okay, now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Okay, I click as a save all, and now our server is now running. And then if you click as a enter again, and now if you go to the terminal, yes, you can see it's now successfully get our which data is now successfully get our specific ID3 data, right? All that ID3 data is now successfully loaded. Great. And if you make it as a I make it as a 5, click as a enter. Now that should be get our 5 ID data. If you go, you can see after that it's get that as a 5 ID data. Okay, so that is our ID as a 5. Perfect. Now I want to that is our URL, right? Here that is our string, query string, and into this query string when you pass as a 5, it's get that our 5 ID data. If you pass that as again 2, I make it as a 2 data, click as a enter. Now if you go, now you can see our last data is here as a ID2, right? So now I want when that will be as a ID2. So this ID2, all the data I want to visible it in our which place? That is our view place, right? That is our overview. That means if we go to our view, and that is our overview page, right? Right now we don't need this. All that our JSON data right now one by one that will be displayed in here. Okay, so into this overview, like that is our images. Okay, that will be displayed the images here. There is the image alter tag name will be displayed, and then there is a name will be displayed. There is also another percentage value will be displayed. So that is all that our JSON data. Now I want to apply it in here. Okay, so like there is a name, there is a hash discount, and there is a discount. So here we have to calculate that discount price, and into this discount price area here we will actually add all that our data. Okay, and also there is the images. So I want to do that work with using one of the identifier. Okay, like here I want to add some of the identifier, and that is I make it as a images. The server will be understand that is one of the images, and then here we will pass all that our dynamic value. I show you, then everything will be more clear. Like if you want to add that identifier, I take one of the greater than and the less than, and then I name it. Here I take 2 of this percentage, and into this percentage area I name one of the identifier name as an image. Okay, better I make it as a capital letter as an image. And also I want to add another identifier, that will be our product name. Okay, I want to add another identifier here, and then I want to add that bubble percentage, and then I want to make it as a name. Okay, I name it as a name. Great, that means our ID, you can see that is actually the name, and then they have the images. So I will actually add all the things in this identifier area. I show you, like there is one of the name, and also that will be another name. Okay, I name it as a name, And then here I will actually have to calculate this data. Okay, here we have to calculate this data. For the reasons here we have to do, I just name it whatever the name actually choose. I name it as a new price. Okay, I name it as a new price. So that will be one of the identifier name. Okay, now I want to add all that our data. So if you want to add this data from where actually I loaded this page, like right now we don't need this. I have loaded this view page from here. You can see that is our overview.html, right? And here I have already added that conditions. Right now we don't need this console log. I simply remove it. Okay, and in here now I want to replace it. As I told you, that is all that our identifier. Here I want to now replace it with this JSON data. Okay, that images, whatever the image as a 1 png, 0 png, all that images will be added in here. Okay, so if you want to replace it, then in our HTML, okay, into this HTML here I want to replace it. Okay, I want to replace, that will be as a replace one of the method. So I want to replace what? I want to replace here. I want to load one of the regular expressions. So when you run that any regular expression, as I told you, that will be one of the double slash, right? And into this area here I want to replace with our which things, that will be replace our like as image. Okay, that is our image. So I want to copy our total image. I copy it and then I want to paste it. Okay, so that is our regular expression code, and this will be as a global, right? If you want to make it as a global, then only we have to pass one of the global identifier as a G, right? So I make it as a G. Now that will be as a global, and after that I want to get our all that images, right? Here with this we'll already check it. With this we'll get all that our JSON data, and into the JSON data you can see that is the images, right? It will be replaced with this image. So I have already get all the data. That means here I get this data with this variable, and now into this variable here with this I want to access our image. Okay, JSON data or field name as an image, right? Here I want to access this image. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. Okay, so I simply replace it with this. Now it should be automatically replaced. Like if you click as a save all, and now if you go, now that is should be changed because that is our 2id, that should be another image display. Now click as enter. Now they have some of the error. Why? If you go, you can see it's also display some of the error. It's display this error as I am actually using that HTML, right? Here you can see I make it as a constant. So for when you use that as a constant variable, that means that will be not that reusable, right? So here I am actually using this HTML. For the reasons better I want to do to make it as a let. I hope friend you can see when you actually get some of the error, then it's helpful. So now I make it as a let. So now we can actually reusable this variable. Now that should be work. Now click as a save all. Now it's running. Now refresh it again. Yes, you can see it's now display another image. If you make it as a 3, now click as a enter. Yes, now it's loaded another one. If you make it as a 4, now click as a enter. Now there is our another image. Okay, that means all that our JSON data, that JSON, all that images, that is image 1 for the ID 1, that is a 2 for the ID 2, right? I hope friend you get some of the idea how much usually we actually do this work. Now I want to work for our rest of this like as a name. I copy it and then I paste it and I just put the name. I name it as a name, right? So that will be as a name. I make it as a name, and into this with this bicycle, our database name. If you go, you can say that means database means our JSON data field name as a name, right? So that should be as a name. So right now our name will be replaced. Now click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Now you can see that is I've successfully updated that name, and also that is our another one. I make it as a 3. So for the 3 now that should be changed. Now click as a enter. Now for the 3 ID, there is a name as a hero. You can see it's now successfully updated. If you go to our JSON data, into the JSON data, there is a ID 3. You can see there is a name. Image is also updated, right? And now there is another option for the original price and then discount price. So I want to display our discount price. Okay, so if you want to calculate that discount price, what exactly you have to do? Simple. I want to do first of all here I want to first of all I take one of the variable as a late, and then I name it as a price, because here we have to get that our main price, right? So that is everything in our bicycle, right? So here I have already get this data. So with this I want to access our original price, right? So that is our original price. So I want to with this I want to access our original price. So that is our original price. I take it with this variable, right? Now I want to do here, I want to put another condition, if there have any discount. Okay, that means if with this bicycle, okay, with this bicycle, because here I have already get this data, I take the things with this variable. So now with this bicycle, when it is there have as any discount, okay, I make it as with this bicycle, I want to access this has discount. If there have any discount, I want to create another new price. Okay, so I take that as a price, I name it as a price, and with this price now I want to get that percentage value. If I want to get that percentage value, then that will be our main original price. Okay, that will be as a multiple, right? That will be as a multiple, and then that will be minus from to the 100, right? So that will be as a 100 minus our which price, 100 minus will be our this discount price, right? So that is our discount price. I simply pass it, and then that will be divided by with the 100. So that is the simple condition for get that percentage value. So I simply get this percentage value. Okay, so here if you want to access that discount, also we have to access it with this bicycle. So that will be as a bicycle and then the discount, right? I hope every part is very clear. So with this we get that percentage value, and I take the things with this variable as a price, and now I want to replace it. Okay, I copy it, and after this I want to place here. So after this here I paste it. So now that will be, I name it as a new price, right? I copy it, then that will be as a new price will be replaced. Okay, it will be replaced with our which things, it will be replaced with our price. Okay, so that is the price. So now here I want to with this backtick, with this backtick area I want to pass that price. Okay, now that should be updated. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Automatically now that will be get that our percentage value. Click as a refresh. Now it's display the price, but our value is not visible. It's only get that our string value here. Also obviously we have to make it with the curly bracket, and then also we have to use that as a $sign. Okay, and also I want to use another $sign for the amount. So that will be our amount, and that is our condition. Okay, now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Yes, you can see it's now successfully get our appropriate calculated value, and you can see that is our $sign. So this one is for our that part. Okay, and then that is our condition. Great. And if you want to check another one as a 5, now click as a enter. Now that should be another price. You can see it's successfully updated. Now our total part is become dynamic. Okay friend, I hope you like it very much. Here we get every data, and now I want to do in our next video into the home page. Okay, in our home page I want to actually load all that our JSON data. Okay, it's very simple. That is all that JSON data I want to load it in our another page as a bicycle page, right? Here I want to load it. So how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. Like there is a ID as a 0. So for the reasons it's now get all that our 0 ID, all the data, that's the images, the name, and then the price, right? Now when you make it as a 5, now then that will be get that our 5 ID, all the data. When you get that as a 3, click as enter. Now you can see it's now perfectly get that our 3 ID data. Right now I want to update our all that bicycle in our home page. Okay, so if you want to do that work, simply understand what exactly we have to do. So right now all the data in our server, like that is one of the div. So I want to take this div in our another page, and then with the loop one by one all that our bicycle data I want to visible in our home page, because it's very much simple. One of the procedure now we have to follow. Let's do that work. For doing this, first of all I want to go to our code editor, and now here we need first of all we have to find out appropriate file location, right? That means this div location. So that is in our home page. Our home page means if you go to there is a public and there is a view, right? Into the view area here there is one of the file as a bicycle HTML. right? So now into this bicycle HTML, here first of all we have to find out the common part. So that is our total div part. You can see there is a bicycle and there is a main div as a bicycle shop. Now first of all I want to take out this part. Like if you select it, our div is started and div is ended in here. So now this div, okay, total div I want to cart it from to this position. I simply cart it. And now in our view, better into the view area, I want to create another new folder and I just name it as a main. And into this main area here I want to create another file. Okay, I want to create a new file as a b main. Okay, that is a bicycle main. Whatever the name actually you choose, I name it as a bicycle main.html. Okay, that will be one of the HTML file I simply created. Great. And here I want to paste it. Okay, I want to paste our total div in particular that position. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now here I want to load all that our dynamic data. Okay, that means if there have multiple data, all that our div will be the same. Only all that information will be updated, and this part will be loaded in our main bicycle. From here I am actually cut this part, right? So here I want to create another modifier that I have already done for the overview. You can see I have already created some of the modifier, and with this modifier simply we load all the dynamic data. So now I want to better copy it, and here I simply declare on the modifier and I just name this modifier as a all. Okay, I make it as a all main. Okay, all main bicycle. So bicycle. So this type of one of the modifier I simply created in here. I hope friend at that point it's very much clear to you. Now we have to get all the data. That means from our JSON right now there have the total 6 data, right? So here I want to get one by one. That means I want to loop all that file. First of all we have to load our this page, right? That is a b main. So if you want to do that work, I hope you already know what exactly the things we have to do. Like here first of all I have to find out our home route. You can see that is our home route, right? So into this home route area here, now I want to add the same things. Better I copy it. Okay, copy it, and then after that I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. I take one of the variable. As per our name. Okay, or as per our name, better I name it as the same name. Okay, now for better references I simply use that same name as all main bicycles, and then that will be as a await, and then our fs module. With this fs module, that is our method as a read file method. It should be now read our file. So that is in our which place, that is in our view, and then the main, and then that is a b main, right? So that is a view, and after that I have created another folder as a main. So I name it as a main, and then that will be as a main. Okay, that means the b main. I simply loaded this page. Okay, b main and then HTML, and I just make that our anchor tag as a UTF-8. I hope you already know about it. And now we have to do, first of all, as I told you here right now, in particular that position we have to loop it, right? And we have to loop it with like as a 6. So I simply want to add one of the for loop. Okay, here I simply added that one of the for loop, and into this for loop area here I want to do that will be simple conditions. I take that late, and that will be index, right? And that is index, and index I name it as that will be started from to the 0. Okay, that means 0 index that will be started, and how much time that will be executed. So I make it as index. So this index will be as a less than 6, right? So then that will be actually get all that our data. So I make it as a less than 6, and then that will be automatically one by one that will be incremented. So in fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you. Now that will be automatically one by one incremented, right? And now better I want to create another string, empty string here. Okay, I create on the empty string. I just name it as a let all the bicycle, So, okay, that will be a let all the bicycle. This type of one of the variable I simply declare, and after that here I want to make it as an empty array. Okay, I make it as an empty array, and now one by one we have to loop it, right? We have to loop. I make this our string value, so that will be our here all the data will be as a plus equal. That means automatically one by one that will be incremented. All that whatever the data, because here I have already put on of the condition, it should be run this loop for the 6th time, right? So this all our bicycle, then that will be our here in our which place that will be loaded. That will be loaded in our this b main page, right? b main.html. So here I take it with this variable. So now here that will be that means this loop will be executed. Okay friend, I hope every part is very much clear to you. So now I want to replace. Okay, as I told you before, now I want to replace with our which one. Now I want to replace our this part that will be load our this that is our v main, right? So if you want to replace it, I have already done that replace. Like here you can see there is a replace, so I want to do and to simply copy it. Okay, I copy it, and then after that, so that is our loop, and after that loop I want to do and to replace it. Okay, I want to replace with our which name? Replace will be with our all main bicycle. Okay, I copy it, then that will be the all main bicycles, so that will be replaced. And here also I pass one of the identifiers as g, that means that will be as a global, right? And then I want to pass our which part? I want to pass out this all. Okay, all bicycle, because here that will be replaced. That means this file I have already get that data, take the things with this variable, now it will be replaced in here. Okay, so now I want to do and to simply pass it. So after that I simply pass it. Okay, I simply pass it. And also here I use that HTML another time. So for the reasons, this HTML should be as a not that constant variable, that will be as a late variable, because right now we are reassign that things again. So for the reasons this variable will be not that constant variable, that will be as a late. I have already discussed about that things with you before. We have already get some of the error for this, right? Now I simply also updated this part, which is totally fine. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all, and now that should be loaded the 6, but our result will be the same. Like if you now click as refresh, so it's not get this data. Okay, it's not get this data. Here also they have no error. Okay, you know, server they have also no error. Maybe I have already get this data, and into this area I pass it, right? Here I pass it, so there is a main bicycle. You can see I'm actually passing this file. Okay, so it obviously would be our this file, right? That is all the bicycles, not that all main bicycle. That is actually the pretty much same name. For the reasons there is a mistake, so that will be obviously this one, because here I have already created one of the empty string, and here that will be load our total loop, right? So now that will be all the bicycle, that means all the bicycles. Great. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Our server is now running. Okay, server is now running, and now if you go now refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now successfully get all the 6 data. Right now in our data JSON they have the 6 ID data, so now you can see it's now successfully get all the data. But here there is a all our same div, right? It's actually display all that our same div, because of all here I didn't pass any data, that means dynamic data I didn't pass it in here, right? For the reasons actually is display like that way. So for the reasons is display like that way, so that is our all that ID. If you click it, you can see there is a 0 ID. If you go there is also the 0 ID. That means one data is visible. So now we have to make it as a dynamic. That means one by one all that our dynamic ID data will be visible in here. So how can do that work? Better to continue this process. In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. 6 ID data, but right now that is the same data is visible. It's because of all I simply loaded that one of the HTML. That means one of the HTML tag, right? You can see there is our HTML, one of the static code. Now that this div is visible, so here that will be looped for the 6 time, because in our JSON data they have the 6 data for the bicycle. Now you can see it's display as a 6. So now step by step I want to make it as a dynamic. So our procedure will be just like that same before. Here I want to add some of the identifier, and first of all I want to call all that identifier, then I get all the data and I replace all that our server data in here. Okay, so that is a simple procedure. Now we have to flow. First of all I want to go to our, right now we don't need this, I close it, and now into go to that our v main, right? So that is our total div. So here you can see there is one of the images, there have some of the name, there is also some of the name, and there is a ID, and after that ID that will be our dynamic one, right? Because here when you actually check it, like if you change that ID 0 to the 1, then it's get that our 1 ID all the data, right? When you make it as a 2 or 5, then it's get that our 5 ID data. So here also we have to pass our ID. Okay, so that means ID will be dynamic right now. So step by step I want to do that work. Like for the images I want to call this type of one of the identifier. I copy it, and now in our main, okay, that means in our main, and then the d main. Here I simply added one of the identifier for the images. That will be another identifier for the name. I name it as a name. Okay, that will be the name. And also here I want to better copy, that will be display that name. Okay, I name it as a name, and then this part will be obviously dynamic. For the reasons here I want to make it as a one of the identifier as a ID. Okay, So after that, that will be as our ID. And after that, there is a rating. So that is all that static data. And here you can see statically it's display as a checked. So when that will be as a check, that means that is our fill up. That means if you go our home page, you can see now there is a checked as a 1, check 2 and check 3. So that is our checked and 1, check 2 and check 3. Okay, so here this checked, I will actually manage it from our server. So for the reasons in our check position, I want to add another identifier. Okay, I simply close it, and that will be one of the identifier. I just name it as a star. Okay, I name it as a star. Also, I want to do the same things for rest of all that our star. That means all that our star icon. There is another one. I want to add another one, and also I want to add another one. Okay, friend. And then there is our another one. Okay, that means here I want to add another identifier. I paste it, and also I paste it. So that will be another identifier. Here I want to use it. I just name it as a new price. Okay, that will be as a new price. And then I want to make it as that will be as a old price. Okay, old price. So this type of the identifier, and percentage we will manage it from our server right now, which is totally fine. Okay, friend, I hope every part is very much clear to you. So now that's all the data we'll manage it from to the server, and dynamically we will update all that modifier. Okay, so if you want to do that work, we have to go to our index, and into this index I have already created the bicycle. You can see that is a bicycle, so I have already get this data. And that is all. Before I have already used that as a replace, and that will be just like that same. So better I want to do this part, I want to call it with one of the function, then we can actually use it multiple time, right? So for the reasons here, better I want to simply select all. Okay, I simply select this position, and I want to cut it. Okay, I want to cut it from here with the Control X. I simply cut it. Here I will actually load one of the function. So I want to create one of the function. Okay, after this I want to create another function that will be as a function keyword, and I just name it as a replace template. Yeah, replace template. This type of one of the function I simply created, and into this function area I simply paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So now here also we have to pass two of this parameter. Okay, here I want to pass one of the parameter as a HTML, and also I want to pass another one as a bicycle. Okay, cycle. That will be as a bicycle. And after that I want to simply return it. Okay, that means the return our this HTML. Okay, I simply return that things from here. So I have already cut it from our one place, right? Now into this place area I want to load our this function. Simple work. I copy it, and also here we have to pass that HTML and then bicycle. So I simply copy it. Okay, I copy both of this. Okay, I simply copy it, and now if you go from particular this position, I cut it, right? So now here I want to declare one of the HTML, and then I want to that will be as our function name as a replace template, and with this replace template area here I pass two of this parameter, one of the HTML, another is the bicycle. Great. Now this functionality will be loaded in particular that area. I hope, friend, you already know about this part. We did this type of work a lot of the time. So now that should be loaded in here. So now into the home page. Okay, into this home page, I have already get that our 6 data, right? I have already get all that our 6 data. And also here you can say, before I replace it, our main div. So now I want to do before I get all that our data here, that is actually our index data. You can see I have already get that all that index data for our home, right? Into this home area, that will be one by one loop all the data, and I take it with this all data bicycle. So into this position now I want to run our this method. Okay, because into this method area, what exactly I have done, into this method area we'll get all that our identifier, right? Identifier as the image, name, the new price. So I have already before get these images and the names. So our image and the name will be the same, because that same data is visible. Like here, that is our image, that is our name. So if you go to the details page, you can see there is the same image should be displayed in here, and that will be as a name, right? So I have already get that images, name, and then the price. So right now here we don't need to run code this again, because that is all that our identifier area. So here I want to replace it with this. Okay, so our template as a replace template, I will copy it, and now in our this position, okay, here I want to replace it with our replace. Sorry, here I'm better I make it as a replace template. Into this function area, I have also passed two things, right? Into this, there is the two parameter. One parameter I have passed, one parameter I have passed it as a HTML, another I pass it as a bicycle. right? So now here all the data in our which place, all the data right now, that is our template, and into this template right now that will be our all main data, because here I want to replace it, so that will be our all main data. So after that will be our HTML, right? And also after that will be our bicycle. Bicycle means, you can see I have also passed another one as a bicycle. So bicycle means our which data, our JSON data. So I have already get that our JSON data. I take the things with this variable. Now that will be our bicycle. Okay, there is another parameter. I simply pass it. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you. So now into this bicycle area, into the JSON area, which data I want to visible? I want to visible that as a index data, right? So that will be on the index data. I simply loaded that index. Okay, so that will be our display our index data. Also, step by step, all that index one by one I want to add it in here. So that will be now loaded, should be. Now click as a save all, and now if you go, now that should be updated dynamically. Click as a refresh. Yes, you can see it's now successfully updated all that our data. That is our 10, that is a 0 ID images, 0 ID name is visible. That is a 1 ID images, and the name is visible. That is a 3 ID. You can see it's perfectly get all the dynamic data. Great. So you can see there is identifier old price is not executed, because here I didn't update this old price, because in our function, into this function, they have the 3 files, right? One is the images, name, and then the new price. For the reasons our price is also dynamic. You can see there is a different type of price for our different type of ID, and that is all that our JSON ID, right? JSON ID, all the data. So now I want to display our this old price. If you want to display it, old price means if you go to the JSON data, and that will be our original price, right? So that is our original price I want to display. So I copy it, and now in our index, better I want to copy another one. Okay, copy it, and then here I want to paste it. So that will be replaced in our which place, that will be replaced the name. I name it as a old price, right? So that will be as a old price. I copy it, and now our identifier name will be as the old price, and with this old price area here, now that will be changed. I have already get that everything with the bicycle. You can see before that bicycle I have used that images, that name. So now with this bicycle, okay, right now here we don't need this. I want to remove it, and with this bicycle I want to access our JSON data field name, or JSON data field name as a original price. Okay, now that should be display our original price. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all, and now if you go, now if you refresh it, now you can see it's now display our original price. Okay, so that is our display original price. Great. And after that main amount, if you want to add that as a like as a 2 decimal, you can also add it, but I have already discussed about that things with you, how to do this work. So for doing this I want to do, and that is our total price, right? After that price I want to add that as a dot and then 00. Now our price will be different. Now click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see there is a price and then dot and then 2 decimal character. Great. And also there is another as a old price, right? That means whole price I want to do. If you want to add some of that $sign, then what exactly here we have to do, like simple. But I make it into with the string with the back tag. Okay, with this back tag I want to make it as it, first of all, that will be as our dollar will be display, and then that is our functional dollar, right? Here I want to pass that our in our curly bracket area. I want to pass that our bicycle. Okay, right? That means that will be now perfect. So now that should be display one of the $sign. Now if you click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see it's not successfully display the $sign. Okay, friend, I hope it's very clear. And so this portal part is done. And also right now one things we have to update, that is our percentage we have to update, and also you have to update that URL. You can see if you click it, now you can see it's now redirected to this page as a file not found. But so here if you pass any ID like as a 4 ID, click as a enter, then it will be get this data, right? So now we have to update this ID. So if you want to do that work, and also another part we have to do for the percentage, better I want to do and to continue this process. In our next video I will complete this project. Images, name, and then the price, and then the old price, right? Now all the data is now dynamic. So now in this video I want to first of all complete that our href. Like if you click it, now you can see there is a bicycle ID, and then there is one of the ID, and then I pass one of the identifier, right? So now this identifier would be as a dynamic identifier. Like if you go to our JSON file, into the .json, that is one of the ID. Right now I want to display this ID. Simple work. So if you want to do that work in our index, so in our that is our method here, I want to take another one. Okay, I simply copy it, and then I want to do better, I copy this one. That will be just like that same. I copy it, and after that I paste it. So now that will be replace that will be the HTML, right? HTML, and then replace with our identifier name. If you go to our there is bmain.html, here I have already put one of the identifier name as a ID, right? So that will be as a ID. Okay, and this ID will be, I want to access it with the bicycle, and our JSON data field name as a ID. So I copy it, then that will be as a ID. So now automatically that will be our total dynamic. Okay, if you now click as a save all, and now if you go back, click as a refresh this page. Okay, now if you click it here, you can see it's now successfully get that our ID as a 0 ID. And if you go back, and then if you go to the 2, you can see there is our 1 ID. Great. And also there is our another one as this one as a 5 ID. Click it, you can see there is a 5 ID related images, the name, and then price is visible. Okay, and then if you go back, everything is great. That means our link is now successfully perfect. So our ID is now totally dynamic. Okay, now I want to work in our this discount price. Okay, so for the discount price here, if you go to our file, and for the discount, that is actually our discount. Okay, so for the discount, that is one of the div. Here I want to do, when there have any discount, then that will be display this discount div, rather than that will be not display. Okay, for the reasons here I want to use another identifier. Better I copy it, and I want to take another identifier name. I just name it as a discount rate. Okay, I make it as a discount rate. So I named that as a discount rate. Right now I want to cut it. Okay, I cut that things from to this position, and now in our index, into this index here, after this, okay, after this I want to better first of all paste it, because here I want to add one of the condition. When there have any discount, then that will be display this discount, rather than that will be display nothing. Okay, so for the reasons here I add one of the if condition. Okay, I put one of the if condition, if with this bicycle, right? With this bicycle, not the bicycles, that is actually a bicycle, right? So with this bicycle, now if you go to our JSON data, and here you can see there is a has discount. When this has discount will be as a true, then that will be display, rather than that will be not display. Okay, so that is how I want to access this has discount. So now with this bicycle I want to access this has discount. That means if there have any discount, then I want to replace it. Okay, I want to replace, better I copy it, and then after that, that is our if condition. Here I want to paste it. Okay, so here then our HTML will be replace our identifier name. Our identifier name, I name it as a discount rate, so that will be as a discount rate. Okay friends, just simply understand, it's very easy, all that process. Then that will be display the discount rate, and there is our global. Okay, I make these things as a global, and after that here I want to pass this div. So now I cut this div, and now into this our backtick, into this backtick area I simply paste it. Okay, I paste this div, and else it will be do another work. Okay, I make this as a else it will be do another work. So now our this part should be as a dynamic. Right, so if you want to make this part as a dynamic, so that is our which data, that is if you go to our JSON data, that is our discount price, right? So now I want to access this discount. Simple work. So if you want to access it, first of all, right now I remove it, and then I want to use that as a $sign, right? That will be the $sign, and then the curly bracket, and into this curly bracket, right now if you want to access our JSON data, that will be with the bicycle, right? With this bicycle, sorry, I copy it, and with this bicycle I want to access our database field name, our field name as a discount. Okay, now I simply copy it, then that will be as a discount. So now our discount should be as a totally dynamic, and else that will be display on the empty array. Better I copy it. Okay, I copy total things, and then after that I paste it, and else it should be display nothing. That means here that will be display as empty. Okay, I simply pass it as empty. Okay, I hope you understand that part. Is very easy, all that process. And now that is our and one. Great. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you go, if they have any discount, now our discount should be as a dynamic. Click as a refresh. Yes, you can see now there is a 25%, there is a 30%, the 40%, and then you can see for these two of this product there have no discount maybe. So that is our ID as a 3 ID, and that is our ID as a 5 ID. Now let's check this out. If you go to our JSON data, into the JSON data for the ID 4 and the ID 5, you can see that is actually the false. Okay, so that is a 5, that is a false, that means they have no discount. And also for the 3, you can see that is actually the false. Okay, for the reasons it's not display any discount, and you can see it's not display nothing. Here I make this part as a empty. Okay, so that is for the reasons it's not display anything. I hope friend at that point it's very much clear to you. And now there is another one as Easter. Okay, so for the Easter, as I told you, what exactly that will be do. Like if you go to again our JSON data, into the JSON data you can see there is one of the field as Easter. So here in our particular that position I have also added one of the identifier as Easter. I want to do first of all that will be check in our Easter how many rating is here. Like when that will be as a 3, I want to do and to replace with our this identifier as a checked. Okay, before that was as a checked. So now I want to simply pass it. So if you want to pass it first of all in our index. Okay, here I want to do and to create another for loop, because here one by one we have to check, right? So simple work. I use that as a for loop, and into this for loop area, first of all I take one of the variable as an index. Okay, I name that as an index. So into this index area, it should be started from to the 0. Okay, it should be started from to the 0, and now I want to access our how many times that will be that means this loop will be executed. That means that is our index. Index will be less than our which one? Less than our star, right? That is our star. How many star is here? We have to get this data. So that is in our star field. I want to access this star field. If you want to access it, we have to access it with this bicycle, right? With this bicycle, I want to access our star field. Great. So if we get this data, then automatically one by one that will be updated, because that should be the multiple one. So for the reasons I make it as index. Index will be as a ++. Okay, friend. Great. And now I want to replace it, right? I want to replace like where I copy it and then I paste it. So HTML will be replace our identifier name. I name it as a star. So here that will be replace our total value, right? That means how many value is for the star, that will be replace it. So here it will be replaced with our which things. It will be replaced before that was as a checked, right? Here I want to make it as a, it will be replaced with the check. So you can use that backtick rather than I want to use that as a single quote, and with the single quote I make it as a checked. Okay, checked. Great. Now that should be updated. Now let's check this out. How much easy you can see, friend. If you understand the core functionality, it's very easy. Like now click the refresh. So now you can see it's now get all that as a star, right? That means all that actually 5 star is selected. It's because of all here you can see I make it as a global. So that should be not global because there is some of the specific our data. So it should be get that our star value data, right? Now I make it as a click as a save all. And now let's check this out. Click as a refresh. Yes, you can see now that is appropriate. So for the 0 index, that is a value maybe as a 4. If you go to that as 0, you can see that is our star value as a 4. For the reasons our 4 is a checked, and for the 1 that is a 5, and you can see that is a for the 1 that is a 5, for the 2 that is a 3. For the reasons you can see get the 3 value, and 3 value is selected and 2 is our unselected. Great. Now that is totally dynamic. Okay, friend, I hope you like it very much. We successfully solved this issue. And also here one thing is like if you make it as inspect, okay, with this inspect like I show you, you can see that is here that is one is the unblanked, right? That is not checked. So for the reasons it's getted that our identifier, right? It's getted that our identifier. Right now that should be not display like that way. So here I want to do for this one, I want to make it as one of the empty. Okay, empty string I want to pass. So if you want to pass it, then in our index, okay, into this index. Here after this I want to run another one. Okay, after this I want to run another one that will be as a replace our star with the empty. Okay, that will be empty, and this one will be for the global. I make it as a G. Okay, so that will be for the global. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh, and now if you select it, you can see it's not totally empty. Okay, now they have no issues. Perfect. So friend, here we successfully complete one of the project with using that pure Node.js. I hope you like it very much. That is simple one of the project, but if you understand step by step, we'll go more deep. But that is one of the another simple project. I hope it's very much clear to you how to pass some of the ID and a specific this ID related all the data, how you can load it. So right now there is actually one of the static data. You can also add another field for this, then the procedure will be just like that same. Okay, so that is your task. Simply in here, okay, in here simply create another property as a details or description, and in the description you can actually get all the description data. Okay, then simply loaded this description data just like as a name, images, or the price. Okay, perfect. Great. So here we successfully complete this project. I hope every part is very much clear. So if you have any issues, if you have any problem, just let me know about it. I am here to help you as much as I can. So friend, step by step we'll go more deep. I hope you like it very much.